And welcome to the Mike Leaf Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Corey Pradell, joined as always by the head basketball coach,
Corey.
Mike Leaf. Coach, 2 games last weekend, 2 big games against Concordia St. Paul and Minnesota State. Mixed bag, 1-1 against Friday, and then came up a little bit short against Minnesota State on Saturday. But I thought your team played hard in both games. What were your thoughts on the
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we played really, really hard. Concordia's got, they've got a lot of talented players, and knowing that going in, new head coach at the helm who was at South Dakota, actually interim there for a year, but they've got a nice team, and I've always said in the past that Concordia's had the weapons. Mm-hmm. So it really, it always gets you get worried about teams and things that they do, and they've got some nice shooters and stuff, but we came out and played well, and we limited their shooters, and it was a good ball game for us. Then that next night, again, and I will say after the game and losing to Mankato after the game, I said to the guys, I'm proud of the fact that how hard they worked, and and I'm a realist, and they've got a very good basketball team. Mm-hmm. Their presence inside is significant, and next time we play them, we've got to do a much better job against him. And they had the combination of hitting their outside shot. So again, I think we had the opportunity, we had a lead at a point in time, but we've got to take the positives away from it and continue to improve.
Talking about the Minnesota State game on Saturday, right there with them, you had a double-digit lead for part of the first half, and then they got away from you a little. Then you came back and got to within 5.
Yeah.
Then 3 straight turnovers and 3 possessions there. What caused that? Was that kind of the turning point in the game?
Yeah, it was. And the turnovers, you just can't have those at that point in time. Good teams just don't make them. And they went to Mariah. They ended up doing a hard screen and roll. And, they moved it. They made a great adjustment. They moved it to the right center of the court. So our help on either side, if they came a step or 2 more, then, they had 2 great shooters that were out on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. And they were knocking their shots down. And I think that for the game, they were 55%. Mm-hmm. So, I give them credit for that. And, again, we've got to make some adjustments. And, I think our league is – there's so much parity in it that you're going to see a lot of upsets here and there. So, hopefully a few teams will be able to knock them off, and we've got to win some tough ball games coming up because it sure doesn't get easy.
No. Speaking of knocking shots down, going back to Friday's game against Concordia St. Paul, hit 15 3-pointers. By far the most you've hit this season, most you've attempted this season. What caused the long ball to work so well for you that day?
I think just coming back home and playing in front of your home crowd, and we've got great shooters, we really do. I think just sometimes we're inconsistent, and I think, to be honest with you, if Tim Wagner's hot, everybody's hot. Mm-hmm. And so he had missed a couple early, and then he hits his shot, and I think it really does. I think he propels it, both he and Riley Bamanek. And then the rest of them just fall into place. But it was I'd certainly like to hit a lot more of those in these upcoming games. That's for sure.
You mentioned the rest of them. One of those was Corey Jeffs, who's really come on in his redshirt freshman year now here, hitting 4 3-pointers in the first half. What have you seen from him that you like this year?
Well, and the reason he wasn't getting out on the floor as much early on was his defense was lacking. Mm-hmm. But he's really picked up on that. He's done a nice job. He's got a good 6'5" frame, skinny. But, he can make those shots back in Australia. The 3-point line is deeper for them. And so he can take it even a step out. And the other thing with him, too, is that he's used to taking the shots with people in his face. So, if he continues to do so, which he's done in practice, he's a great threat for us. And between he and Tim out there hitting those shots and Riley being able to drive and Conrad, et cetera, hopefully that gives us that balance that we're looking for.
Let's fast forward now to this coming weekend, last game of 2014, before you get a little break here. As you travel down to Upper Iowa, you've already faced them once this year as an 89-70 win. And you played pretty well in that game. What do you have to do to continue that?
Yeah, and they're a different ball club. They got a guy back that hadn't played in our original game, that they're leading scorer now, and they play a different game at home. Again, they play a lot like Southwest. They do a lot of 2-man high ball screens. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, they shoot a ton of threes. And you look at our game at home the first time around, we did an okay job getting out to their 3-point shooters, but we didn't do that good of a job. Mm-hmm. But they weren't hot. Yeah. And they shot a low percentage. And I don't know if it was due to us or not, but they've been on fire at home, and Mankato had gone down and beat them, and then Concordia went down and they beat them pretty good. But they're an excellent basketball team, and so for us, we've got to take away dribble penetration and those kickouts. And that's they'll play 4 smaller guys, and that's what they do.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the 4 smaller guys. The first time we played them here, you out-rebounded them by 30, 57-27. Is that something you're going to be looking on as a key part of the game again?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was an early game, first NSIC game of the year, and things can change for sure. But for us, I think we've done a better job rebounding since we played games in between, and I think we're doing a better job defensively. Even though we played that game very well, but I think we're doing a better job defensively. And even though we lost to Mankato, we had openings, we had leads, and we just could not finish. And that's what we have to do. And so with the upcoming game, we've got to play a full 40 minutes.
And you've had a lot of tough, rugged games so far this year. After that game on Saturday, you'll have a little bit of a break. Is that going to be nice for you and your guys?
I think so, because I don't know if you can tell by my throat,
Yeah.
but we're all dying a little bit of this cold flu or whatever's going around, and it's in practice you just got guys coughing all over the place, and they're coughing on the ball and they're spreading it around, and it's just not sanitary.
No,
it doesn't sound good, does it?
No.
But no, it's I think it's a good break. It gives us time to people don't realize that it's a long season, and at least they get to go home for a good 5-6 days, and actually 7 days where they can spend time with their families, and then we get back at it, and boy, I'm not a guy that looks ahead, but just earlier today, Zach Malvick told me, he goes, boy, it doesn't get any easier.
Sure
And I
does,
said,
no.
what are you talking about? He goes, Moorhead and Northern, only 2 losses between the two, So, but we kind of chuckled at that, and that's where the parity comes in our league. But it'll be a nice break. But again, you want to leave on break with a W for sure, and that's what we're planning to do.
Yep, absolutely. And you'll have a chance for that W Saturday at 6 p.m. When the Warriors travel a couple hours south to Fayette, Iowa, as they face the Upper Iowa Peacocks down in Dorman Gymnasium. But before you do that, we'll have one more guest this week as we talk to Corey Jeffs, one of the new faces on the floor this year for the Warriors.
The Aussie boy.